Yo, 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 what's up, people? We is back. Another day on Keep It G News. And then we got to talk about Ynw Melly trial, because a lot of people are saying that the defense took a L. Now, for the people that have been focusing and watching in on this case, the defense been stacking up days, and that's what you got to do in order to get found not guilty. Stack up good days on top of good days and keep them coming. Now, today, people saying the defense took a L, and it actually was a win for the prosecution, because the reconstruction analyst got on stand today, testified under oath, and said that there was no way this could have been a drive-by. And for the people that know, they saying Ynw Melly is saying that's what it was. Well, not actually Melly, but Portland is saying that it was a drive-by and it was ambushed. But this reconstruction analyst begged to differ. But I ain't gonna hold y'all up. Y'all wanna hear from me? I'm gonna let y'all hear from me.
Give an area of the car with which the shots emanated from.
Yes.
And could you describe to the ladies and the jury what area of the car did the shots that killed Anthony Williams emanate from?
From the driver's side back seat.
As to the shot that killed Christopher Thomas, where did that shot emanate from?
Driver's side back seat.
Oh.
This projectile, the blowback is indicative of a firearm being in close vicinity of the head. The head is something that bleeds profusely when it's pierced. If you've ever fallen on stairs or hit your head, it bleeds like no tomorrow. And because the projectile entered in right below the skull, the blowback ended up coming in the direction of, as I was speaking earlier about the hose, in the direction that it came from. And you will get that with a very close shot. If you're being shot at, it's natural to step on the gas and go, which would put you
Objection, Your Honor.
either,
Excuse me, what's the objection? Now,
This is speculation. Speculation.
which would put you either above or forward or behind your shooter. And once that happens, I mean, it's human nature, then we would start to have directionality keyholes from different directions. There's no way that you're going to sit there and let someone shoot you. Also, a photograph to show that you can fire a firearm from that position in the direction of a passenger who would be seated in that seat.
Okay. Now, looking from the other angle, what are you looking at in this photo, which for the record is 6717?
And that is just a forward picture from the front of the vehicle facing towards the back of the vehicle to show that it is still possible to fire a firearm inside the vehicle.
Okay. And then in terms of the measurement, how far away is the firearm from the face at that demonstrative photo, which is 6719?
In this particular demonstrative, it's approximately 6 inches.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury if Mr. Thomas was sitting straight up and didn't move to the side to get away from a gun?
At one point, I believe that he did,
And how do you know that?
because Mr. Thomas has what's called a defensive wound on his right hand, and that defensive wound was caused by a projectile. So I believe that at some point he turned and put his hands up or attempted to de-escalate what was going on and received the firearm projectile through his thumb.
The defensive wound. Why is that important for you as a shooting reconstructionist?
Because it lets me know that Mr. Thomas was not aware of what was going on. He was taken by surprise, and his hands being up. If his hands were down. He would not receive a projectile through his thumb. His hands are in an up position, almost saying, maybe don't shoot, or I relinquish or something, but he receives a defensive wound due to that projectile.
Right here, so you're saying an alternative proposition is being demonstrated by 6733.
Yes.
Are you able to rule this out as a possibility?
Yes, because number one, the angle would not be able to be obtained into Anthony Williams. Number two, if the shot was made, the blowback would be more of a vertical blowback.
And so what do you mean by vertical?
So it wouldn't come up and down.
Okay. Is it possible for there to have been two shooters inside that car?
No,
Why not?
there is no time.
So explain what that means.
So Mr. Williams was not even aware he was about to be shot. When Mr. Williams was shot, Mr. Thomas puts up his hands and is shot, and then is shot again.
Okay.
There's no time for anybody to switch a firearm. If there were, I believe one of those individuals would be alive. There's no time to switch. It was a very, a rather rapid event.
Now, a lot of people are saying, or some people are saying, that this was a win for the prosecution. People actually saying is the prosecution slow rolling the case. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all this before I get on to what I'm ready to say. I've been hard on this prosecution for their build-up. It's taking too long, and I believe once you take long prosecuting these cases, you put the jury to sleep. Jury want strong evidence. They want visual evidence. They want to be captivated. They want to be stuck in the moment. That's how you keep them paying attention. And I don't think the prosecution is doing a great job doing that. I think they're actually luring the jury to sleep. Now, like I say, some people would say this was a strong day. But for the people that's following this case strongly, and people that's looking at everything that's going on and know what Ynw Melly defense is, other than the drive-by shooting, they saying that he wasn't in the car. But you have this video saying that he was.
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes, all right.
Now, in order for this to be strong evidence, people will have to believe that Melly was actually in that car. But the defense saying somewhere along this ride where these two cars separated, and though the car that Sack Chase and Juvie was in got shot up one way or another, that other car that was just pictured, the other SUV, ended up here. Oh yeah, see? That's them coming into the complex. Sunset Leaks. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, yo. That blonde locks, that shit look goofy as a motherfucker. Now, the reason why that video footage is very important, because Melly defense team is saying that somewhere during this ride, you know, from the studio to where the shooting happened, that Melly actually switched SUVs. And he wasn't in the SUV that y'all seen him on video getting in. He was actually in the one that you seen going to the complex where Melly was staying. So, though today looked like it was a win for the prosecution, I'm not so sure that it really was, because we gotta know the burden of proof is on the prosecutors completely, fully. All the defense gotta do is poke holes into the case. Just keep poking holes. It's like a bottle of water. It's like a water in a bag. You poke enough holes in it, it's gonna leak. And I think this case has been leaking for the prosecution. And I think the defense has done a great job so far making this case that the prosecution is laying out look paper thin. And by now, I'm sure there's a few jurors that already got not guilty in their mind. I know if I was on the jury with all the evidence that was presented, I would be leaning toward not guilty, because they don't even know where the shooting took place at, y'all. The prosecution and all their evidence is based off of this so-called shooting site, you know, the staging. That's what they calling it. They don't know where the actual shooting took place. So if you don't know where the actual shooting took place, how can you say that it took place there? I mean, I guess they can. I guess that's where they got the bullets from, but they don't have the gun. So they like, yo, the case is just not a strong case at all, yo. For real. I actually think they wasting the taxpayers' money bringing this to trial. It took 5 years, y'all. Think about that. It took 5 years. So that lets you know how the state actually feel about this case. Because if they thought they had a strong case, they would have been trying to get them to court way sooner. So, was this a win for the prosecution? Depending on who you believe. If you believe Melly was actually in this car, then today was a damaging day for him. But if you believe somewhere along the lines that Melly switched cars and he wasn't in this car where the shooting took place, then this evidence that was presented today, it was for nothing, because Melly wasn't there. It could have been somebody else in this backseat. Only thing that they prove for the people that don't believe Melly was in this car is that it wasn't a drive-by. They still don't know if Melly was the trigger man. But let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments. This is Keep It G News, your favorite blogger. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, and I'm out.
You be dreaming about your dreams. I be living out my nightmares. I be missing out in bed. The other night she was right there. I be lurking with my bros. I be crying with my mom.